Computer. Okay, hi. Okay, welcome everyone. I am so excited tonight. I have literally been so excited to teach this class because this is my passion. I have not done like an educating quick master class like this since May, and I don't actually really know why I stopped. I just stopped. I took a little bit of an interlude, but I'm back. And as you may have known, you've heard me met like probably on my social media, or maybe you've seen me in person. I've had a major health overhaul with a really, like, I'm going to just say incredible weight loss. It's made me feel absolutely incredible. And I've had so many questions about what have I been doing? Like, what's my secret? What healthy habits have you done that you've had this weight loss and, this period of time? And I'm here to share little bit about that with you, kind of what it is, maybe what's keeping you stuck right now, and what I can offer you in terms of like having that for yourself as well, and like really having a lifestyle change. Because for me, as you're going to know, this was actually an overhaul of my lifestyle, not just in the weight loss or the fact that my jeans fit now. Okay, so we're only going to be here about 15 to 20 minutes. I have a little script so I kind of stay on track. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing so I don't go off into some tangent. But honestly, I can just say 4 months ago, I thought, or longer than that, I thought I was just doing everything right. Maybe you've had the same experience. I was working out, thought I was eating right. I was really prioritizing my protein. I put that in quotation marks. I meal prepped kind of like I thought I was choosing healthy foods and snacks like that. Took my supplements, of course, that I love from Arbonne, but it didn't really matter what I was doing. I still felt kind of like tired, brain foggy, and more importantly, I felt stuck. And more importantly is that none of my clothes fit. And I got to the to the point where I was starting to get really frustrated because I was overwhelmed with information of where do I turn, influencers, do this workout program. None of it really seemed to like give me any kind of like result, even if though I'd had consistency. And so I didn't want to do any kind of diet. That wasn't in that word I didn't like. I wanted to really find something that was sustainable, something that was actually, I knew that if I trusted the process, it was going to work. I knew that if I put in the consistency and I put in the effort, that it was going to work. We always take that gamble that maybe it's not going to, but I had seen a lot of my friends who were also in Arbonne and close friends of mine, anywhere from the ages of like 52 to my age, which is 42 and a little bit younger, have really incredible results with whatever they were doing. At the time, I really did no idea. All I knew is that they were really working on their nutrition. They were working out from workouts from my wellness app that I already had access to, and they were looking incredible. They were not only losing weight, but they were looking more vibrant. I swear to God, their hair was looking better. Their faces were looking like smoother. Like I honestly feel it was such an up level and transformation. I was just like in awe. So of course, what did I do? Nothing. I did absolutely nothing for for at least 5 to 6 months. I just watched and I thought to myself continuously in this little bit of a spiral, this isn't going to work for me. That's not something that I can do. Until finally I saw one of my really good friends who I know had really great success with this. I was actually on my third piece of toast because I thought I was eating protein with peanut butter. And I saw a video of her and I hadn't seen her, like she had a side by side. And I was like, oh my God, like in 6 months, not only has she's dropped this weight, but she's built muscle and she looks absolutely incredible. So at that point in time, I stopped what I was doing. I picked up the phone and I said, listen, whatever you gals are doing, sign me up. And from that, I've had incredible results, which I'm going to chat about. And I've now created a program to help other women who are in that similar situation get out of that unstuckness and really create a lifestyle change. What I love about this is that we're not working on diets. It's actually science-based, it's strategy. It gives you a goal, it gives you accountability, it gives you something that you can see like tangibly, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And again, it's science-based. It's working on your biology and physiology. So for me, it was a total win-win. So maybe you've been feeling like that too. Maybe you've started something. Maybe Monday, you're like gung ho, let's go. Tuesday, you're like, yep, I'm awesome. Wednesday, you're like, oh, I'm just going to sneak something from the candy drawer. Thursday, you're like, oh, I'm feeling really tired. Friday, you're pissed off because you haven't had any results. The weekend goes by and you're starting over on Monday. I've been there too, but what really changed for me was working on this science-based program that I'm going to chat about. So most people often will, start their day, like I said, with just, a regular kind of meal. And this was me. You have like fruit, cereal, granola, maybe like not, maybe no breakfast at all. And you're just kind of like continuously running on empty. You might be experiencing that little like mid-morning crash at around 10:30, maybe sometimes around 3 o'clock where you're reaching for sweets. And I think like the biggest way that someone said this to me is that you might have a breakfast or no breakfast at all, a little baby lunch, and then like a normal supper. Like, does that kind of like sound familiar? And all while you think you're doing really great. And I'm not shaming anyone because this was me too. Like you're doing really great. Maybe you're having a protein shake midday, but you're like, oh, I'm doing so good. But whatever is working, but for whatever reason, nothing is working. Your weight isn't budging. Okay. And this is what I was doing too. So for me, I was doing all that. And what really changed the pattern of my disruption, like disrupted my pattern and changed in my lifestyle, was actually tracking macros. So this is what is involved in our 10 days, which I'm going to explain what the 10 days is. It's a macro tracking kind of program. Now, for a lot of us, specifically me, I had no idea what macro tracking was or macro counting, whatever you want to call it. I thought when someone said macros, they were talking about macaroons. Like I did not know what they were. I did not know that there was three major macros, which I'm going to explain in a minute, is protein, carbs, and fats. I didn't get that. I knew that we needed to prioritize our protein, but I didn't really understand exactly how this all worked. And that was really embarrassing, even for myself as a healthcare professional, to not 100% know that. But then at the time, I started thinking, I was like, if I don't really know how this is working, if I don't get how this is working and how this can actually work to our advantage, how many other women are out there too who are thinking, like, hey, man, I think I'm doing really great, but they're not also getting like the connection as well. So I took it upon myself to invest, to learn from a nutrition coach, to experience the results and the whole program on my own. And this is exactly what I've done. And now I teach and train other women to do it too. So it all clicked when I learned about macros. They're basically your balance of protein, carbs, and fats. And what we're working on is working and balancing them in a particular ratio. So I've shifted to prioritizing protein first. So no more like toast and peanut butter only in the morning. I lost 30 pounds in 4 months and I've kept it off for the past 6 weeks because I'm now in kind of like my maintenance program. But more importantly, honestly, I gained the energy, the confidence, and like kind of the freedom around food noise. Like I've heard that a lot about like food noise, about even like the stress that comes with like the stress that comes with food, or the food that comes with stress. You know what I mean? Like you feel stressed, you want to eat, you reach for those like sugary, high fatty things. Like that is actually really dissipated because also my stress and my cortisol level have actually really leveled out from just balancing my nutrition and my blood sugar. So I stopped feeling like a failure by Wednesday. I stopped obsessing over calories or didn't even look at them at all. This program does not include you counting calories. And as women of our kind of I guess our age period, calories was what we looked at, but we're not looking at calories, okay? I learned actually how to fuel myself in a way that felt good and optimal for me. I learned food value and I learned portion control. And this is coming from me, myself, as a busy mom of three, a pharmacist. I work 32 hours. I've got three kids. I live on a farm. And all I can tell you is that if I can do it, you can do it, okay? So if I can figure this out, you can too. So really, what are these macros? And when you're into the program, we do go into this a little bit more in depth. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of teaser so you have a little bit of an understanding of how this is going to work for you. So macros are basically just macronutrients, the three: protein, carbs, and fat. These are the ones that your body needs in the largest amount. So they fuel energy, hormones, and muscle. So protein is obviously one that we've talked about first, is like the biggest one that builds muscle, it repairs and keeps you full. And more importantly, it stabilizes blood sugar. So when we're talking about fat loss and weight loss, what do we all want to do? We want to lose the fat. We want to lose the weight. We don't want to lose muscle mass. We want to lose the fat. So when, for example, and I'm really terrible at making slides because if I was going to do that, I probably wouldn't be able to do these. It would take me a year to get something together. But I'm going to put it on. But if anyone did, like, I'm terrible at PowerPoints. Okay. They're just not my jam. I'd rather just come here and just yap. But when we look at blood sugar and protein, this is where the science and the physiology comes in. So, say, for example, you have a carb-loaded breakfast that I talked about before. So you have your toast, you have your, bagel, whatever, lots of carbs. That spikes your blood sugar immediately, like this. Then, as your insulin responds to take the sugar down, eventually that sugar that's in your meal from the insulin is used as your energy. Now, what happens when you have excess energy or excess blood sugar? It actually goes into your adipose tissue or your fat tissue and becomes stored as fat. Then what happens is your blood sugar goes down because that was a very short spike. It's kind of like a flash of paper in a fire. You go start to get hungry again because it's like goes up and then it goes down. So your body's like, oh, I had a quick flash of energy. I need more. So what happens is you will often reach for another high sugary carbohydrate type of snack. Say this is where the 10:30 Starbucks comes in, okay? It doesn't have to be food. It can be something that you're drinking too, but your body gets that cue. So you drink that, what happens? More sugar. Blood sugar goes up again. And this continuously cycle has this kind of cycle of your blood sugar spiking and going down, spiking and going down. And what that does is it causes those energy crashes. It causes that fuel not to be burned off as fat. So your body starts to store it. Now, in comparison as fat, which is what we don't want. So in comparison to protein, it is something that is, and in certain types of proteins, yes, you might have a little bit of like carbohydrates and stuff as well. But for the most part, it's metabolized very slowly. It's actually kind of like a slow fuel. So I want you to think of it as like a big log that you put on a fire. So when you have a high protein breakfast, and you will have a little bit of carbohydrates with it too, because it actually helps them burn off together. It gives you the quick energy and it gives you the slow energy. Your blood sugar stays stable. So now over that course of time, you have less of an insulin response. Because therefore your body is like, oh, I feel good. I have just the right amount that I need, but I need a little bit more. So it goes into your fat tissue and it starts burning off your fat. That's where the weight loss comes. You start doing this consistently and you start leaving enough time in between your meals to like have a protein-based meal, burn off the fat, protein-based meal, burn off the fat, you start to lose the weight. So not only do you start to lose the weight, but your body physiology actually starts to improve. Your insulin response actually, I'm getting excited about this. Your insulin response actually becomes more acute, right? So that means that when you have like a meal, your insulin responds to it right away and it knows where to put it. It's not like confused. Because when you get too much insulin, if you've heard of like insulin resistance, your body kind of gets confused. It's like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I got so much of this stuff, man. It just puts it all into your fat tissue. But your insulin, it becomes more sensitive. It becomes like kind of like hungry for it, and it starts to burn it off because you're having less of it available to be able to sustain it. So is your body still running efficiently? Yes, it's running more efficiently because now you're actually providing it with what it needs. And also, what happens is that when people start prioritizing this protein, specifically and balancing their plate with carbs and fats, you're going to find you're going to be eating way more food and better food than you were before. And so, like, isn't that exciting? Because right now you might be thinking that, like, I'm not eating a whole bunch, or you might be thinking, I feel like I'm eating a lot. But one of the first things that we do is we actually start macro tracking your food in a food log. And I know for me, that was like the biggest mind hurdle because I was like, I ain't got no time to be doing this. Like, you realize I'm busy. But honestly, I did it for 2 days and I was like, holy cow, I'm not eating hardly anything. I'm supposed to be having 140 grams of protein and I was getting close to 60. So no wonder I was like binging the Oreos at 9 o'clock. No wonder I was like rolling around and not feeling great in the morning and no energy. I actually was under fueling myself. So you can think of it as a way as like you're not taking away, you're actually adding to what your body actually optimally needs. So then we have carbohydrates. So that's protein. This is your body's main energy source. It's not the enemy. Okay. It's not, it's just bread. It's not cocaine. Don't worry about that, right? It's needed for your brain and workout performance, but we want to have clean carbohydrates, okay? Fats, again, not a bad word. We need fats for our hormones, energy storage, and cell health. So when you track macros, like the first thing is I tell people, it's not about perfection. It's about, or weighing every single ounce of chicken. It's about creating awareness and balance. And you would be surprised at how many women are like, oh, wow, I'm under eating. I'm really not getting enough protein that I need. And then they start and they do it for the like 5 days. And then we actually start and they start tracking it. And you should see even the difference in your body composition. Like I know for myself personally, within 8 weeks, my muffin top was totally gone. And I was like, what the heck? Like, you can't target areas specifically, but what happened was because I was having high protein and less carbs and fats, my body composition just changed simply by upping that protein intake. And I did that through smart supplementation, which I'm going to chat about in just a minute. So, what are a couple things that honestly you could do starting tomorrow to really help you out? One is eat protein at every meal, and I talk about these more in depth and do more specific one-on-one coaching with people and also in our group coaching, which is starting September 8th, to really help you get a good start so you're not on your own. You have accountability. You have people who are doing this. You have a professional, myself and a dietitian who's joining us as well. Aim for 20 to 30 grams specifically at breakfast. That's one of your main fuel moments of the day. Start your day with protein, and you honestly will feel the difference all day. Consistency, that's over perfection. This is not a diet. This is not about, oh God, like I ate a piece of pizza, I'm going to spiral in shame. No, it's just a blip. And that's what I like to call them. You eat a piece of pizza. Oh, frick, I made homemade buns on Monday and I had two of them with peanut butter. Like, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to keep on going. And if you have those days and you feel like maybe you have one to two of them in a row, that's what we're here for. We're here to help guide you through because as much of this is also about the numbers and and like tracking the macros, a lot of it is about your mindset and just getting into that different mindset of that. I'm going for consistency. I'm not going perfection. This is a lifestyle. This is not a diet. It's not restrictive. I can eat whatever foods I want. I just have to be mindful of what's happening. And if you have a specific goal of, say, I really want to lose 30 pounds or I really want to lose 20 pounds, the macro tracking is basically like your roadmap. So you need a target in order, you need a goal and a target in order to get there. Or is that what I'm trying to say? You need a target in order to get to your goal. So you need to know how to do this. And that's where that comes from. And for a lot of people, we get them started on the 10 days and we do some continued coaching. And then we do some calls after that to keep you on track. And that's what this is all about. I don't give up on people easily, and I want everyone to have incredible results. And remember that micro habits matter. So even swapping one carb heavy meal or one carb heavy snack for a protein based one, and you're doing this consistently, and it also will compound. Okay. So out of three, I encourage you pick one that seems the easiest and do one tomorrow, and then come back and let me know how you feel. I would love to know that. So here we go. I've kind of like gone over my yap in here, but if you're sitting here thinking to yourself, like, this honestly makes sense, Kim, to me, like I understand, but I need some structure to do it. That's why I created this Macros Made Easy. So it's a 10-day program designed for busy women just like you who are tired of starting over, who want actual results, whether you're from 35 to 45 or whatever you are, perimenopause, menopause, not menopause, whatever. It's for all women. Inside this, you get a 10-day roadmap to hit your protein goal and your macros. We have a protein guide. We have a 36-page guide that gives you all the directions, which is a lot of information, but in that there's some really great nuggets. You get a daily checklist so you know exactly what you need to do. Support and accountability from myself as a professional and someone who's actually doing this. So you're not doing this alone. You have accountability, you have someone there to help you. My toolkit of recipes, my supplement starter pack, which is actually on sale this month, it's 30% off. And right now, yeah, 30% off until August 31st. So plus when you join, you get a daily checklist that I'll give to you right away. And then you can join our coaching session that's starting to September 8th. And then I believe I'm going to start another one shortly after that in September um, 22nd. I'm going to start two groups in September. Okay. So I would really encourage you, just let me know where you're at. Ask me a question. I'd be love to help you. And I kind of named this back to school because back to school, back to routine, it's often stressful enough. So don't wait until you're overwhelmed. Don't wait until you're exhausted and feeling like, oh, I don't know what to do. I need to change something. Or you feel like the summer has been off the rails. You want to get back in routine. It starts now. It starts today. Don't wait the 5 to 6 months like I did, thinking that it wasn't going to work for me or that I couldn't do it because I know full well now that I could do it. And I know that with my help and my support, you can do it too. Okay. If I can do this with my crazy schedule, kids, and my full-time job, you can too. So thank you guys so much for joining me. That was all. I hope you gave you a little tidbit into what this is like. And honestly, I'm just so excited to help as many women through this as I can and get you all feeling happy, healthy, and vibrant. Thank you.